wants to be internet famous. I was definitely looking for that.
You were just one click away from your life being destroyed.
The United States labeled me as a terrorist for a tweet.
My ex-boyfriend posted nude pictures of me online, and it nearly cost me my life.
This woman threatened my child on Facebook, and I absolutely lost my mind.
You don't even know me. How can you want me to die so much?
I didn't post anything, and still, the internet spun my life out of control.
My name is Suey, and the hashtag Cancel Colbert nearly ruined my life. Growing up as a Korean American in the suburbs of Chicago was hard at times. Kids were pulling up their eyelids and making slanted eyes as they were chasing me. It was in college that I first started speaking up in terms of racism in general. I decided to use social media to advance my activism. There was a huge reach that social media could have. By the time I was 23, I became a pretty visible Asian American activist. I had maybe around 18,000 followers on Twitter. I was sending around 50 tweets a day. I was giving keynote presentations at various colleges and universities. I was regularly asked to comment about various Asian American issues. These stereotypes can be really dangerous. So when Hollywood is portraying us as being the villains, then what does it do to Asian Americans in the modern context? So not only was I able to travel and speak about social media and activism, I was able to make a living off of it. So for me, it was really a career. All the trouble started on March 27th when my boyfriend messages me to tell me that a lot of Asian American activists were really upset about this tweet from the Colbert Report. I'm willing to show the Asian community I care by introducing the Ching Chong Ding Dong Foundation for Sensitivity to Orientals, or whatever. And it was quoting a segment from earlier that night.
The Ching Chong Ding Dong Foundation for Sensitivity to Orientals, or whatever.
The Colbert Report is very satirical, so I wasn't taking it literally. But when I went online and saw how many Asian Americans were upset about this joke, I decided that I would create this hashtag for the various people that were upset. And so I said the Ching Chong Ding Dong Foundation for Sensitivity to Orientals would like to cancel Colbert. Trend it. So I didn't actually want the show to be canceled, but I was trying to think of something catchy and over the top to get my point across. I didn't really think anything of it. I went to sleep for 8 hours and I woke up the next morning and it was trending. Thousands upon thousands of tweets. Everyone was writing about it. Within 24 hours, I was asked to appear on HuffPost Live with Josh Zepp.
Joining us now is the author of that very same tweet, Suey Park.
Thanks for having me.
Why cancel Colbert?
I think it's really to make a statement that this sort of thing happens weekly, that Asian Americans are always a punchline. And so I think we're just trying to make a point that people will be held accountable the next time they do these sort of things.
Do you understand the point of satire?
Of course I understand satire. I'm a writer. I felt like it was very condescending the way that he was treating me.
It's just a stupid opinion. I mean, it's a misunderstanding of what
You
satire
just called
is.
my opinion stupid. The gloves came off. I saw that he was being aggressive, and so I bit back. It's incredibly patronizing for you to paint these questions this way, especially as a white man. I don't expect you to be able to understand what people of color are actually saying. After the show, my words were taken out of context. I was misquoted as saying white men don't have the right to have an opinion. That's not what I meant, and it's not what I said.
In most conversations, people are looking for the juicy quote, the shareable quote. And it's very, very easy to build up a huge mob against someone from an out-of-context quote. That's what gets you clicks. That's what gets you traffic.
These words were spread around the internet, and so when people would see this quote from me, they became more and more angry. The backlash against me really snowballed and got out of hand. There was really an organized effort to harass me in particular.
I can't decide who to dislike more, him or the professional grievance monger, the 24-year-old Twitter chick who tried to get him fired.
There were all sorts of racist hashtags created about me, and there were a lot of violent thoughts, especially death threats and rape threats. Go get raped, C-word, you effing deserve it. You are a dirty effing N-word who should go kill yourself. At the same time, something else was happening that seemed to me even more hurtful. A lot of my close friends actually deleted their whole accounts. A lot of people who were using the hashtag #CancelColbert started deleting their tweets.
So you started feeling really abandoned. A lot of the people that you worked with, a lot of other prominent Asian Americans sort of turned on her. She felt really out on her own. I was really concerned about what it was doing to her mental health.
My boyfriend, who originally thought that Cancel Colbert was a great idea, actually ended up breaking up with me. That was probably the hardest part. Just such complete and utter betrayal. It didn't seem like anything could get any worse, but it did. I was in bed and I was trying to fall asleep when a colleague of mine reached out to me and said that there's a group of people on Reddit that are currently doxing you.
Doxing is any release of personal information in a hostile context to cause intimidation or harassment.
People had my personal phone number, my personal email account, my home address, my college transcripts, and all of it was being widely circulated. There were also attempts to hack my finances. I started getting threatening messages on my phone. I started getting mail that was really disturbing. I got this one message on my phone. It was untraceable, and it said, I am an ex-military sniper. You've really done it this time. Prepare to die. I'm outside your house. I have a target on you. I really did think that there was a chance that I could die. The police really weren't any help at this point. It was kind of just this survival mode. It's just get out. My friends flew me to New York. They felt like they could keep me safe. From this point on, I basically stayed in one room all day without any interaction with the outside world. I wasn't defending myself and participating in a public dialogue. All I did was watch as more and more people wrote hit pieces against me. I felt like my voice had been taken away, and I also felt like my independence and my privacy had been taken away. I was in a really big slump, and so my friends thought, hey, everyone knows that I'm a Chicagoan. No one's gonna suspect that I'm here. It would be great if I went to the club and kind of improved my mood, and we ended up cutting off all of my hair. Nobody would be able to identify me without my long hair. It would be completely safe. We went to this dance bar. I felt better than I had felt since the whole thing had began, and I honestly thought that it was finally over. Then I noticed a group of people that weren't dancing, but were in fact gawking at us and taking photos. I became very angry. I grabbed this phone. I started screaming at him. This is not right. And as I start deleting these photos and scrolling back, I realized that there were pictures from days before in Queens and in Brooklyn. I became very disoriented. I just dropped the phone. And that's when we decided we needed to all get lost. After that, I did safe housing, which is when you keep changing your location so that people can't track your whereabouts. I was using burner phones. We would replace them once or twice a day so that I could still make personal calls with people that were communicating to keep me in hiding.
Before Cancel Colbert, Sui was very outspoken and she felt very powerful on the internet. And after Cancel Colbert, she felt very physically unsafe. She realized that her internet power could bring physical danger to her, and that made her rethink how she used that platform. It made her very scared.
I felt like I could never really breathe or let my guard down. And I also was exhausting my resources.
I don't think people realize how expensive and time-consuming trying to stay safe can be. We don't realize what a privilege it is to have a physical address and feel safe there.
I decided if I wasn't going to be safe anywhere, I might as well go home. So after I got back to Chicago, it was months and months where I wouldn't leave my apartment because if it was night and someone was simply walking behind me, I would either vomit or start shaking, uncontrollable tremors.
All of this was started by a hashtag activist or hashtivist who has been viciously attacked on Twitter. And if anyone is doing that for me, I want you to stop right now.
To me, it felt like the end of everything. I became more concerned with my own survival and with my own mental health. And it was almost easier to believe that I was crazy than want to believe that I exist in this world where people can be so cruel. To a lot of people, I'm just some girl who got killed on the internet.
My name's Lee Van Bryan. One silly tweet about my trip to the US got me in handcuffs for 2 days at LAX. The United States labeled me as a terrorist. My name's Lee Van Bryan, and the United States of America labeled me as a terrorist for a tweet. I was born in Southern Ireland. In 1992, I moved over to England. I've always been really active on social media. My followers and Instagram followers were always roughly between 1,000 to 2,000. I tend to be just very sarcastic and sharp. Nothing's ever serious that I post. It's all just jokey or sharing cat videos like everyone else.
I actually met Lee at a Britney Spears concert. He was very out there and he was far from quiet. So when Lee suggested we should go to Los Angeles, I was really excited because I thought it would be such a good time.
3 weeks before my trip to the United States of America, I was all excited. I tweeted, 3 weeks today, we're totally on Hollywood Boulevard, pissing people off and digging up Marilyn Monroe. You think of Hollywood, you think of Marilyn Monroe. Then I tweeted, are you free this week for a gossip/prep before I go destroy America? And I ended it with a kiss. I did not literally mean to dig up Marilyn Monroe. I didn't literally mean I'm going to destroy America. First off, that's a joke. And second off, look at me, I'm not going to do anything. I could barely destroy my own hair, let alone an entire country. I never in a million years expected those tweets to change the course of my life. Me and Emily arrived at LAX. It was about 3 p.m. LA time. Our plans in LA was to see everything and do everyone.
We're so excited. All we want to do is get through the airport and go and hit a bar.
As soon as we got off the plane, Homeland Security was there. They confiscated our passports. They then carted us off into a side room. And the man asked me to undo my suitcase. So he raided it, pulled everything out, and there was a mysterious package in there wrapped in plastic and cellophane. So I had to put his mind at ease and just tell him it was fake tan that I'd wrapped up because I didn't want the fake tan to leak all over my clothes, thus ruining my holiday. He then gave me like a pat down. By that point, I had no idea what was going on. They were interrogating me and Emily non-stop for 5 hours.
Differentiating threats can be difficult. The Department of Homeland Security, they're looking for buzzwords, they're looking for catchphrases, they're looking for patterns. Social media is just one piece of a larger puzzle, but certainly it's a bigger piece, and I think that's going to increase.
They asked if I had any sort of criminal record.
Had I taken drugs?
Did I pack a spade?
They thought Lee was going to dig at Marilyn Monroe.
So I was thinking, they'll know it's a joke. It's just common sense. They asked if I have a Twitter account. And generally, whenever anyone asks, do you have a Twitter account, they want you to follow them back. And I hate following people back. So I went, yes. And he was like, what did you mean by destroy the United States of America? And I was just like, party. Destroy in English terms, in slang terms. I'm gonna go destroy this nightclub. It just means you're gonna go there and go crazy, like have fun, party. And he goes, so you did not mean to destroy as in blow up the place? I was like, no.
In a post 9/11 world, a person like Lee says something like destroy America. What he might feel is an innocuous term is going to evoke a response from law enforcement.
It takes a lot to faze me. But when I realized that they were interrogating us because of a tweet I'd sent, I was thinking, oh my God. I didn't even bring a blow dryer, let alone a bomb.
I couldn't stop crying. They were telling us, you're not coming in the country. So I panicked because I didn't know what we were going to do.
As it went on, we realized it was getting quite serious. We sat there looking at each other confused.
I thought, I don't understand what's going on, because if you looked at me and Lee, we don't look anything like terrorists.
I think after the 5th hour, me and Emily were like, oh my God, something's really bad. One of the guards said, we can't let you in just for the tweets. The head of Homeland Security had already cancelled our visas while we were mid-flight. They had no other option but to send us straight back to England. But at this point, we'd already missed the last flight of the day. I was like, this is ridiculous.
When I first got told the visa had been cancelled because of Lee's tweet, I was absolutely gutted.
It was sinking into me like, oh crap, what have I done?
We went to sleep in this holding room, and then we were woken up at 12 o'clock by police officers.
I was handcuffed. We were like panicking, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen.
I realised something's not right because we're not supposed to leave the airport.
They then put us in the back of this van.
I shouldn't have said it to Lee, but I said I thought they were gonna kill us.
I just lost my shit. I was so panicked, hyperventilating, I couldn't breathe. What are you doing? This is ridiculous, we haven't done anything wrong. You gotta mix up, you gotta mix up. And I was literally just going ape shit. All because of a tweet. We arrived at the back of a big grey building. You can't see if it's daylight, we can't see where we are.
I'll never ever forget, there was a row of police officers dressed like Full Metal Jacket, and this one guy looked at the pair of us and his jaw just dropped as if to say, what the hell are you two doing in here?
We got out and then they split us up. We were took to our separate cells.
I was really, really scared. I didn't know if they'd taken him to a totally different prison and if I was going to see him again.
They'd put me in the cell with these criminals. They were telling me they were in there for cocaine, drug smuggling, jumping the border, and there was me in there for sending a tweet. So I was a bit like, what's gonna happen? We're about to be executed. But I thought, if I'm miserable, what the hell is happening to Emily?
My charge sheet said it was believed that me and Lee Van Bryan were travelling to the United States to commit crimes. And they put me in this really, really big room, and I was the only person in there. My worst fear was that other people might come in and they might try and beat me up. I kept thinking the whole time I was in the prison, they're going to open the door and say there's been a huge mistake. You and Lee, get yourself a taxi and go and find the bar. Every hour, I kept thinking they're going to realise because it's so silly. It never happened. I think I was in there for about 14, 15 hours.
They let me out of the cell.
And we just looked at each other and went, what the hell is going on?
Despite the fact we hadn't done anything wrong, they said that we had to fly back to England because our visas had been cancelled. So we were illegal immigrants. Everyone saw us being put in our seats in handcuffs. We can't even look at people. We were so mortified. So I just got a blanket and threw it over my head. We flew out on a Monday morning and we were flying back in on a Wednesday afternoon. I was a bit nervous about how my family were going to react to the fact that I'd basically been deported from the biggest country on earth for a tweet.
Lee called me to say he'd been deported, and I said to him, what for? And he said apparently over this tweet that he made. And I thought, no, that can't be right, you must be joking. Lee is very eccentric, he's always tweeting about something stupid. Then when he came back from his holiday early, I thought, okay, this is a bit serious now. I don't understand how they can jail someone for 1 or 2 days because of a tweet.
We need to be able to differentiate online threats from cultural slang. Oftentimes, the kind of surveillance that national security agencies employ are over-inclusive. They capture too much content. These types of surveillance tactics have to be much more fine-tuned, or else tons of content that we want to have on the internet and we want to have in society are going to be banned and censored.
Everyone's looking at us like we've done something, we must have committed some horrible crime. And I was like, what we should be doing is highlighting what's happened. So we contacted a local reporter. We handed him the transcripts. And he literally went, quick question. Have you just been deported for sending a tweet? And I went, yeah. On Monday, we were in one newspaper, and on Tuesday, we went into every newspaper on the planet. My stepdad was in India on holiday. I hadn't even told him, and he read it there.
For two young Brits, it was a holiday gone wrong.
Local slang landed them in a Los Angeles jail.
Should I be impressed that the folks at Homeland Security are going through tweets like that, or should I be concerned?
We became mini celebrities from this. In the aftermath of it all, Homeland Security had said that they'd been tipped off that I was coming over there to commit an act of terrorism.
There's still people out there now that think I was going over there to dig up Marilyn Monroe and to destroy America.
For the rest of my life now, anytime I'm going to travel, this is going to fly up on the screen in front of me. But the worst part was, I absolutely love everything about America. I mean, the fact that I might not ever get the chance to visit that sort of place is terrible. The internet brings people together, gives you knowledge, but obviously there's a dark path that you could go down or not even realize you're down until it's